Welcome back to another week of the Team 7 podcast. This week is a very special week. It is the 7th episode, so it's a special week. We're covering episodes 37 through 45. We're now in the preliminary rounds to the third stage. Happens right after the Force of Death. They're immediately expected to fight, kind of with a pretty big stake at hand. They're saying that you can just kill them if you want. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to start at 37. I've got my friends Asher and Zach here with me as always.
Heyo.
So
howdy.
Basically, we start surviving the cut, the rookie nine together again, and we get a whole bunch of rolls, and they're told. Well, I guess first at the beginning of the episode, they're told that they pass. Aruka shows up and tells them that they pass, and then we get to see a cool moment of Naruto's love for ramen once again. And yeah, they're basically. I thought that it was interesting that the Hokage laid down the rules and such that it was like this is basically a little mini war. I'd completely forgotten about that, but whenever I rewatched it this time, he was just like, "This will mimic the battlefield and can be treated as such." Like all that, I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, and is it also kind of a thing to bring everyone together too? Like I got the Olympics vibes, and it's not like, hey, we actually want to kill each other, but if that happens, it's like
that's like c'est la vie. Like it's just like that's what happens. Yeah, I completely agree. It is supposed to be for unity, but there's some different motives there of like learning about other villages and what they got. And
sure.
Just kind of showing off too to show what you've got. So,
and they added just curveball of like, hey, there's going to be some scouts here, so your future depends on how you perform.
Yeah.
So some people might.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they might want you to help them with their strengths and weaknesses of whatever they have, and whatever their tactics are. You might fit in well with that. And I was just like, what? I thought the Leaf Village was like Naruto's spot, and now he could be talked to by somebody else for all we know.
Yeah, well, it's more of like so Tazuna, the bridge builder from the Zabuza arc. He is from the Land of the Waves, but the Hidden Mist Village, all that area, but he was contracting the Hidden Leaf because they had built a reputation of strength. So like Naruto will still be belong to the. I'm so sorry, Zach. Look at your background. Your curtain looks terrifying. It looks like somebody's hitting it.
It's the AC unit.
Yeah, okay. Somebody's back there.
It's blowing on it.
But anyways, sorry. But I forget what I was saying. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh, that legit scared me. Go ahead.
What was Naruto will always belong to the Leaf, but the drive there is to that brings in more business for the village to get those contracts, because they'll say, well, I want this kid or whatever to do this mission, but it's not like that would take him out of being a ninja for the Leaf. Does that make sense?
No, it definitely does. It's just not what I expected from the exam as a whole. It's just another Naruto tactic of, hey, this is what you're doing, but also it's not. So,
right.
Yeah. Essentially, the third Hokage had a shadow clone in the plan, is what I'm getting at.
Of course. So, not a lot happens in 37. Like I said, it's a whole bunch of setup. 38 is kind of the same. I think that
I will say the best line in 37 is like Guy Sensei's talking some mad trash to Kakashi, and then he just turns and he goes, "Did you say something?"
Yes.
Guy freaks out.
Dude.
I love
Guy
it.
Sensei in dub sounds like Johnny Bravo. When he turns around and has that monologue, and he's like, when he feels so cool. It's like, bro.
Yeah.
Guy Sensei's a vibe.
That's one of my notes is like we'll get to this, but in a few episodes, whenever Tintin's about to fight Guy and Rock Lee, they're like they're her biggest cheerleaders, and I love it. They're both like, "Let's go, we love you." It's so good,
So sweet,
but
but it's much. Also, I think
yeah, it is
Hayate,
much.
the referee, he got the COVID for sure. Poor guy.
Dude, he's been coughing up
He
a storm.
I love Hayate. I
He-
think he's such a cool character.
he didn't have a sub.
Yeah.
Like there's no backup plan for the tuning exams for his position. Is like, too bad, dude. Like you're dying and you have to do this.
I actually can't remember if it gets explained or not, like why he has a cough or what. But for whatever reason, I've just like assumed that it was from smoking.
Oh,
I don't know why.
interesting.
Huh.
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty
why.
sure they didn't explain any of that, but it is referred back to by multiple other characters who are like,
Like what's wrong
like,
with him?
dude,
Yeah,
please get some water. Someone give him a
Yeah.
lozenge.
yeah.
The
I
only other
did-
thing from 37 that I
Yeah, go
had
ahead.
is we see some more tech. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, with
but,
the screen.
dude, that VHS TV, but they're FaceTiming. What is that? Like little blast from the past, but also
Yeah,
modern
nod to the
technology.
future.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then Anko has that Justin Timberlake microphone. Like it's just everyone should have one.
That's what
so-
if I like didn't have my mic here, that's what this would be. It comes out like this,
Exactly.
but I don't use it because it doesn't sound as good, obviously. So okay, so 38. The only thing I said was more setup, and then I had Kabuto's a bitch because he is. And
Bro,
Hate
you
him.
couldn't have said it better.
he I'm so happy
He's
y'all
so
know
slimy
because
now.
I can't stand him. I mean, from the first
Yeah.
time we saw him, I was like,
Slimy
get this
is such
dude
a good
out of
word.
here. Yeah,
That's
slime.
that's how I feel about Orochimaru too. And I made a note on 38. Like, is that not Orochimaru? Like, does everyone not know that that's him, or do they know? And it's like, hey, he's just here because he's got like Sound Ninja here. Like, it's they don't.
No,
know,
they don't know.
right?
They don't know
Until
No.
later when we see him with Kakashi, and then I guess Kakashi knows.
Yeah,
Don't you mean Ochimaru?
Ochimaru.
Ochimaru, bro.
I have to apologize to our listeners because I definitely botched it last week.
Ochimaru. It's my favorite character. Also, speaking of last week, I botched something evidently. So Lance, our dear friend Lance, who will be making a guest appearance next week, he is going to come on and talk about the next batch of episodes. Going to be great. Tell your friends about it. But he was listening to last week's episode, and he messaged me and he texted me and he said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that like you didn't get a Gara tattoo from your parents. I bought that for you because I specifically remember going to FYE and like buying it." And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'll correct myself on the podcast. I do still have like a real memory. I'm open to the idea that I'm misremembering, but I do have a memory of having one of those like as a child and like having to make the conscious choice to not wear it because I didn't want the ridicule from my siblings. But that also happened with the headband and like the Gara shirt, which the Gara shirt for sure was from my parents. But yeah, I wanted to give credit to Lance because he definitely did buy me a Gara tattoo, and I don't know what happened to it. I wish I still had it. If Lance, if you're listening, you ought to just buy me another one, and I'll put it on for the podcast right here on my front left forehead.
I guess the fact that it means love, like that would have been common knowledge to a Japanese audience. Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Logan, I'm the one who got you that Gara shirt.
Oh,
I'll
misremembered.
get you another one.
That's tough. Can I have it? Can you get me another? Yeah, thank you. Just send it to me. Anyways, do you guys have anything else for 38? I'll make sure that we keep moving forward. I know we've got
The
a lot
only
to cover.
thing that I have is I got you the Gara shirt.
Oh my gosh.
This is my literal nightmare.
That's right. But here's the thing.
It,
I got Zach the Gara shirt.
I'm gonna have a stroke.
Those are regift, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Thank
know
you.
that there's I don't know that there's anything that's worth us really like diving into, and I'm kind of glad because it was a lot of episodes. Like I have as many notes about these two as the rest of them, but just looking through them, it's like I don't know. There's not a whole lot there, just like exposition. So
Yeah.
my,
Go ahead.
I have a question about 38 in the setup, because at the end, they bring out the panel to decide who's in the matchups, and Sasuke is going up against, remind me his name,
Yoroi.
Yeah. Yoroi.
Yoroi. And Kakashi has a little moment where he gives him some advice as he's walking up the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, don't use your Sharingan.
Yeah.
And Sasuke has a little inner thought that we're aware of. And he says, what? He knows about the Sharingan? But I thought that they've interacted with the Sharingan before together.
Yeah, I thought
Maybe in
season 1.
Zabuza arc.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he knows that he can't use his Sharingan right now. He knows that he doesn't know that maybe the instance that that Sasuke tried to activate his Sharingan in the Forest of Death, and then he collapsed because of the pain from his curse mark. But Kakashi does know that using any large amount of chakra will weaken that, or will take down his own chakra, so he'll have to rely on the curse mark, and then it'll start expanding. So what he means by he knows about the Sharingan, he knows I can't use the Sharingan because the curse mark, and also he knows about the curse mark because they've not talked about that, but everybody knows because of Bonk.
So he wasn't. So when he said what he knows about my Sharingan, he wasn't confused that Kakashi knew he had one.
Yeah, no, Kakashi knows that he activated it in the fight with.
Okay.
Yeah, some time has passed, and he activated his Sharingan with Zabuza, or with Haku, that the Zabuza arc. Yeah, it's
that's
more
what confused me.
Yeah, it's more of just he knows the situation. He's shocked that he knows the situation and knows that he can't use it. And then because he comes up and tells him it will, in the sub at least. I didn't get to watch dub this week, but it will weaken it, and you'll end up letting it leak out essentially. I can't speak right now, and then we'll have to call off the match or something like that. Isn't that right, Asher? Isn't that what it said?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the impression I got anyway, especially once they're into the fight, because it was like, hey, it's almost time.
Are we gonna
step
have to
in.
stop it?
Yeah.
Because and he also said, because I'm gonna have to be the one to do it,
right?
Kakashi.
Yeah.
So yeah, does that answer your question? Good there.
It does. I was just a little confused on that, but I think it was just lost in translation.
Yeah, definitely.
39. How excited are you all to talk about Bushy Brow?
Oh wait, hang on.
Your fave.
Sasuke, I put down, did Sasuke kill that guy? Because what's his name? I just said it. Is it Hayate? What is it? Yeah, he comes up and he's like, "Yep, no doubt about it." And then the dude never moves again. So I was like, did he just kill him? And everybody was like, "Well, that's what happens."
I didn't think that he did. I figured it was just really obvious, but yeah,
he's knocked out.
He messed that guy up. That was some cool, I feel like we're just now getting into some really cool moves and stuff, which again is not my favorite part of the show so far or anything, but it's stuff that I'm like, okay, it's really adding to it for me at this point, which I was a little surprised by, actually.
Yeah, they continue to build and expand the world of ninjutsu. Because we get a fair amount of taijutsu in this as well, but it just kind of It can be played out after a while. If we had this many episodes and they didn't show us anything cool ninjutsu wise, I feel like it wouldn't have done as well.
Well, I mean, they named the episode after the Lions Barrage.
Yeah.
And to me, like, yeah, it was cool. He did an aerial kick, but to me, it just seemed like a normal kick. It didn't seem like anything like wild.
Yeah, I believe
Do
that
you guys,
is
what are
just
your
a
thoughts there?
ninjutsu, or sorry, a taijutsu
Yeah.
move.
Which is
think
physicality, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Correct.
Now they're using chakra to like boost their strength and to be able to boost their jumps and their hits and kicks, all that. But overall, that's not using a chakra to like create some sort of ninjutsu the way that like Shadow Clone Jutsu is.
Ah, okay. I was gonna ask, like, does it take chakra to do the taijutsu? Which it would only make sense that it does, because it's almost like normal martial arts style moves, but in a superhuman way.
Yeah, I mean, well, so you'll get more explanation on that pretty soon. But everybody has chakra, but like gathering it is not always done or able to be done by people. So you have to be like taught that, and some people just can't anyways. So taijutsu doesn't require chakra the way that ninjutsu requires chakra, but chakra can be used to like amplify taijutsu. Think of it like this way: like whenever we saw them training to walk on water and to walk up the tree, run up the trees or whatever, just to like plant their feet and let the chakra like hold them to whatever it is. That is like using chakra, but not ninjutsu. Does that make sense? So like they can use chakra in taijutsu, but it's not like it's just not the same.
It's not as draining
because there's no
maybe?
like, huh?
It's not as draining. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
take as much
it
energy.
needs to be like second nature to them to like just
Yeah.
use it the way that it's like they don't have to weave signs for it or anything like that. They don't have to build up chakra or think about it. They just like do it. And we'll see that because we've not really seen them like run through or run up trees or run on water since then. But they continue to get better at it. So 39, all Sasuke, he just like destroys Yoroi, your boy.
Even
boy,
though
your
even though Orochimaru says, now release that luscious power. I think that was Orochimaru. God, that creeped me
it
out.
was.
It reminded
Yeah.
me of someone saying, like, roll that beautiful bean footage. I don't know why. It just had a similar like amount of space and time when he said it.
Cringy.
Yeah, cring.
So they fight Bushy Brow, Rock Lee, who we all love. Now he's been, well, he's probably at this point being a little frustrated with Sasuke, just for being beaten out so clearly, because like after the Sound Ninja and Sasuke like fight and he uses the curse mark and goes crazy. And then Rock Lee wakes up and he's like, he did all this. Like, I'm not even in that same class. And then now Sasuke has copied his best move and used it without only watching it once.
Yeah.
I'd be mad too.
Big rip right there. And Orochimaru is like having a nosebleed off in the corner for Sasuke. Also awkward. Some awkwardness in this episode. Like when everyone was expressing how they felt about Sasuke winning, it was just kind of like it rolled a little too long or something. Sorry, go ahead, Zach.
In episode 39 in my notes, in all caps, I wrote 4 times big tongue alert because they kept showing that big old tongue. It's so creepy. They've nailed how creepy this guy is.
Yeah, he is. I hate that tongue.
I hate that tongue. But hey, you know what, guys? Somebody loves that tongue. And I don't know
meet them.
I don't know his or her name, but Orochimaru is making someone very happy. All right, we should move on.
Goodness gracious. So
It's our first explicit tag episode, so let's just go downhill from here. Please keep us on track. Please keep going.
I'm trying. Episode 40 now. So Kakashi has taken Sasuke has finished his fight. He's clearly not doing well. He's extremely tired and depleted chakra. So this curse mark could go crazy and ultimately kill him. So Kakashi takes him. I love how he immediately shut down the medical ninja and was just like, "This is outside your territory. You have no clue. See ya. I'm gonna take him myself." Love that. And then he takes him to some place in that tower, I assume, and does that sealing jutsu on the curse mark, which is pretty cool. Looks a little bit more tribal than it did. Just pointing that out from our conversation last week.
Yes.
So I don't know. Not sure if I definitely won't be getting that part of it. But Orochimaru shows up. Sorry, Ochimaru shows up, and I want them to fight right here. And I knew they wouldn't, and I still wanted them to fight.
I swear I had the same thought and feeling. Like it would be great for them to just duke it out right here. But it's like there's something about knowing that there's 700 episodes of this that I know they're not going to right now. But I also know when they do, it's going to be some badass moment.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I don't know if you guys caught it, but whenever they first start talking, Orochimaru references Kakashi's Sharingan and is basically like, I know you didn't always have that. And I also want it. Like, you know what it's like to not have it and now have it. So that I'm just doing the same thing. Did you guys catch that?
I didn't catch that he mentioned Kakashi not having it before. That's interesting. Because isn't it? Because we talked about how it is like a bloodline trait, but it's also something to be crafted. So it's like a possibility, but whatever. So does that mean that Orochimaru is not a part of the? Help me out here. Uchiha.
Do you mean Orochimaru or do you mean Kakashi?
What did I say?
You said Orochimaru.
I did mean Orochimaru. Does that mean that he is not a part of the Uchiha clan, but he wants that?
No, Sasuke is the last. Well, Sasuke and his brother, who he's referenced a few times, are the last surviving members of the Uchiha.
Wait, so that means Kakashi is not
an Uchiha, and that's why I'm comfortable telling you because you have been told. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
So Kakashi didn't always have it. We don't know why right now. But that does tell us that he's not an Uchiha. He's not related to Sasuke.
True.
So are you able to like inherit it or steal it from somebody else? Or are we going to find that out later?
That seems like
it's the world of the Sharingan. You will learn so much that we don't know right now. So
great.
Just hang in there.
Buckle up.
You're watching or listening, hang in there if this is your first time going through it, because it's very complex. There's a lot to it. So I have no, go ahead.
I have one question as far as the curse mark seal jutsu goes.
Mm-hmm.
When Kakashi finishes and, Sasuke kind of slumps over because it takes a lot out of him. He kind of explains like, listen, this is all about will. You have to be aware and willing to keep this seal from unleashing the power of the curse mark. And if you don't, it's going to be more than you can handle.
Yeah.
I know in the grand scheme of things, Sasuke had to have that done. But why wouldn't he like at least explain that before? Because that to me is like, well, I don't know. And this is just my ignorance because I've not seen what the curse mark can do. And I get the vibe that it's definitely bad and, people die from it. But I would just, if I was Sasuke, I'd be like, dude, what the heck? Like, I wish you had told me that before. Like,
Well, he did tell him as soon as the ceiling was over.
I know
So
that's
that
what I'm saying. Like, because it seems like if he didn't have the will to do that, or like if at one point he loses focus, like it could be a very bad day for Sasuke.
oh, you mean he should have told him before he gave him the seal so that he could just say no, I don't want it. Is that what you're
Correct.
saying? That's not really an option.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
let it run the way it is now, it's not because he's still adjusting to it. That was whenever he was knocked out. This is just what the curse mark does whenever it's unchecked. It's like
Right.
every chance it gets to seep energy into him and like let that curse mark go crazy, it will do it. But the curse
Yeah.
mark or the ceiling of the curse mark will keep that at bay. But it's basically a challenge of like, hey, you've got this now. And the only way that you're going to be successful with this is to have a strong will and a strong minded will, or whatever, you know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. And to, basically keep it at bay because it's not going to work on its own. Like you have to spur it forward because you don't want the curse mark to overtake you, essentially.
Yeah. And I got that vibe, especially when, Kakashi was like, listen, we gotta go take care of that thing. And he's like, what? I want to watch everybody else fight. And
Yeah.
he's like, no, I've already been lenient enough. Like, we need to get this over with.
Yeah.
So I definitely knew like he at least set up that way, but it wasn't as like daunting as the post jutsu explanation, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I definitely get it. It's just I don't know. And maybe Sasuke would have resisted more if he told him beforehand. I don't know.
Yeah. I really don't know. I've never thought of it that way. It's never made me think twice about it. This podcast is really interesting because when we're watching it through the lens of like we're gonna have to talk about it, it like we know I at least I notice more. I notice things that I didn't notice previous times watching and things that don't seem significant like that. Like why wouldn't he bring it up before? There are things I've never considered. I like that. And I like the podcast for it, but I don't have an answer.
Well,
No, you're good.
speaking of that, I wanted to ask you all about this because I haven't really noticed the music in a big way as far as what's happening within the episodes until this Orochimaru theme that kind of plays. It's like the notes I put for it were it's sinister without sounding too dark. And that's a really interesting vibe to me. And to not to nerd out too much on the music aspect of it, but there are so many major chords in his like theme and what plays when he's speaking and stuff. But the way they're put together makes it feel like, oh, this is evil. This is like using something that's normally happy and sounding good for like not so good. It's
That's
cool.
interesting.
I
I don't
really
know.
I really want to analyze it further and kind of figure out. I bet Lance would have fun talking about some of that stuff too. But his theme in particular, was really interesting to me how they put that together and made it so just evil sounding without being all minor chord and minor key. So, but what do
I
you all think about the music?
I love his theme as well. I
Mhm.
think it's great. And we'll get to this as well, but the little tune that they play whenever it's Sakura and Ino, and then also Tintin and Tamari.
Mhm.
It's only really played in their fights, but I love it. It's so good. It's like a little bit, it's just like it's slightly different than like another one. I recognize it. I don't know. I don't know how to put words to it because I don't know anything about music, but um it was during their fight it came up a few times, or both those fights.
I think
I really like
that's the other couple of times that I mentioned the music in my notes too was when they were fighting. I like the usual theme that kind of like starts up and then it really gets going as something is being explained that's like, oh, this is a new move or something, and it's that like I don't even know how to describe it. It's electronic. It's very fast, and it's like dun 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 dun, ba, ba, da, ba, da, ba, and it goes like up high and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that one. I like the everything just came to a resolution and it's really like triumphant.
The piano.
And it's got the maybe. Yeah. And then it's got the flute in it too.
Yeah. That's a lot.
I like that one a lot.
That one makes me weepy every time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I put down Kakashi is so cool, dude. Orochimaru is also cool. And I stand by that. I think that they're both so cool. Like I love both of the character designs. Think the voice acting is great, and both the dub and the sub. I think they both have very iconic voices. Like Orochimaru in sub sounds very like sinister, but in the dub he sounds very creepy, if that makes sense. Like just like I feel like Orochimaru in the sub is a little bit more like bloodlustful, and then the dub is like, I'm gonna take this boy for myself. And that's at least the vibe I get.
Checks out because he did that with Zaku in that little flashback that we saw of him recruiting him.
Yeah.
Zaku Shino fight number 2.
Yeah, true, man. And this whole Shino and Zaku thing, like Shino gives me the absolute creeps. And when they show, did you all ever watch CSI? Like where they would show like someone getting punched or hit by whatever, and the inside like X-ray vision of their bone breaking or something on that show.
I know what you're referencing, but I didn't watch CSI.
Well, they do that with Shino, and it shows like where the bugs are all just like inside his body. I was like, whoever this guy ends up with in any kind of a romantic relationship type way is going to have to be like way cool, or also just have a lot of bugs in their body as well, because like
at that point she would be a ladybug, right?
Oh gosh. He's been infected by Asher.
No, you don't mean that. Yeah,
I do mean that.
That whole fight was pretty cool. I mean, all these are so cool to see everybody's like abilities and stuff, because I know it's all gonna come up later too. But this was the only one where I like physically kind of clutched my own body and was like, I don't want to be watching this guy anymore.
He's cool, but the bugs, man, they just the
explanation
they went a little
for him
too far
cool.
with that.
Yeah.
I hate whenever like the bugs crawling out of his skin, like where he gets hit and he's got the hole in his skin and bugs are just crawling in and out of it. I can't stand that. It's my worst nightmare.
You know, on
the
paper,
best comic relief on that was Rock Lee calling him a bug tamer. He's like, look at this bug tamer. I was like, yeah, Rock, he's the bug tamer, isn't he, bud?
Which, yeah, bud, good job. That's how I see Rock Lee all the time. Bug tamer on paper feels like something from Pokemon, and in the reality of Naruto, it's like, I don't want any part of it. I don't want to shake your hand. I'll be your buddy, but don't want to hang out with you every day.
Technically, since you're supposed to catch them all, they're bug catchers.
I'm gonna sign off.
That's right.
I'm gonna hit the leave button.
All right.
So dude's arms burst open because he clogged them with bugs. That was kind of disgusting, but whatever.
Cool move though.
Cool move.
Definitely unique.
Poor guy, his arms. He's been through it. I can't believe. I also wrote down, so he just healed his arm, like no problem. Like dude has both arms broken in Force of Death, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna tough that out and use them anyways in this fight. But whatever.
And then look at what happens to his arms from there. Like
shouldn't have pushed it.
He's had a bad couple of days as far as arm stuff goes.
Yeah, it's a great point. So that fight finishes. Next up is Kankuro, and Zach's laughing at me. I'm not sure why. Kankuro and the other guy that was on Kabuto's team, and I can't remember his name. He references Yoroi for a second. He's like, I don't go as easy on kids as Yoroi. And then 30 seconds later, Conqueror's killed him. And
It's
I just wrote him down as Reed
Tsurugi.
Richards, also known as
Richards.
Mr. Fantastic.
yeah, that's a great reference.
Rubber arms. The explanation of that was wild, though, because he said, I just dislocate my joints. I'm like, that doesn't happen if you do that, buddy.
Yeah,
That's rubber.
That's all joints. He dislocates
snaked
all the
around
joints.
his whole body.
That's what I put. I did put his name. It's Tsurugi. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that. And then I just put the word snake. And then I put the word ew. Because the first thing we see is him just wrapping around Konkuro. Also, Konkuro is a bad mother. All them sand people. Good grief.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a taste of the puppet master at work. We finally get to see what's underneath.
Well, like, how long was he switched with Konkuro? That's what I want to know. Or with
and we don't know, right?
No, I don't think so.
Probably from the beginning, but when the puppet like turns around and it's just that like crazy face, it was terrifying.
Yeah, I can't remember his puppet's name right now. Did either of y'all write it down?
No, I don't.
I did not.
I don't remember them mentioning it necessarily. I'm sure they did, and I just missed it. I do remember them comparing the puppet to like a kunai, like it's a tool that you could use, and then they kind of say the same thing with Akamaru, right? Or at least that's how Hayate is kind of framing all these things and why they're like legal to use or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. They're all just like different ways to utilize either animals or bugs or puppets, or the same as kunai, basically. Let's see. His puppet name.
Konkuro is a cool name too, by the way. I'm really enjoying pretty much everyone's name on the show is cool. What are you looking up? Oh, the name of the puppet? I really don't think that they mentioned that here. So if that's a spoiler, I'm going to be so mad at you.
I'm going to just pull up the episode because I'm almost positive that it did get brought up. Because he introduces it whenever his head turns around. 41.
Was it just puppet?
This is my puppet. Sorry, I just want to know, and then we can continue on.
You're good. I'm just going to keep talking a little bit for the bathroom scene because Ino's demonstrating her mean girl streak again. But then I put the note that Sakura be confident.
So, I want to say it's like black something.
This is
Black Ant. That's my guess. I think that it's Black Ant.
I think it's BBP. It's Big Black Puppet.
What is happening? This is some wild podcasting right now. Are you really gonna like look it up for a long time?
Yeah, I want to know.
It's been a really long time already, dude.
Well, I'll just say this while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
Because I have a frustration from episode 41. And I need you guys to...
I was right. It's Black Ant.
That was never mentioned in this episode.
Wrong.
Spoiler alert, if you're listening.
I don't think it's a spoiler, but either way.
All right. Frustration is the pacing of these conversations.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Sakura and Ino are picked as the next battle. We're gearing up to see them. Ino says, you might as well just quit. You know, she's like doing her little trash talk to Sakura. And I wrote this note down. Sakura said, I won't quit. In fact, I'm looking forward to it. And I was like, why was there 10 seconds in between those two lines?
Okay.
There's no need.
This might be something that Logan can answer to, or either of y'all can answer, but is is that saving a few frames? Is that like they got to the edit and they're like, shoot, we need 10 more seconds. Let's have Sakura just like sit there.
If I had to guess, this is my guess. She probably said something to that effect in the sub as well. But the way that it's said or what was said specifically probably allowed for like more space there originally. But because the mouth's not moving, they go to do the dub, they're not going to let her talk without her mouth moving. So they just like change it a little bit and break it up into like one thought, but now it's got these few seconds in between. I don't want to look it up because then Asher will just remind me of how long I'm taking.
It took a long time to figure
out. It did
out
take a long time. It was buried.
Black ant something.
Anyways. So
well, and then we're on to flower arranging too, which was sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I think that's probably my best guess, is that it's just one of those things that whenever they go to do the dub, they're limited to like when the mouth is actually moving. So I'd be willing to bet that it was just like the timing didn't feel as off in the original, because they wouldn't, if the problem is that, or the problem isn't because of like the amount of frames, like that wouldn't be a problem. They wouldn't say like we have to just like pause it here to add more frames. Because if anything, they have a shorter runtime, which would allow for more commercials, I would imagine. So I don't know. Ultimately, I don't know, but that's my guess. If you do know,
well,
welcome to our DMs.
I'm waiting on that lore master.
At Team 7 Podcast on Instagram. Actually, everywhere at Team 7 Podcast. 7's the number, not spelled out. Anyways, on to the next. So, flower picking or whatever, flower gathering. All the kunoichis.
I really enjoyed this, by the way. I liked all the flashbacks that they had for Ino and Sakura. Even though they're slow, and it's something that we've talked about watching Attack on Titan a little bit. Some of the flashbacks in that, I'm like, can we just get to it? Like, this is a whole episode and I'm bored. Yeah. But I like these because I'm very, very heavily invested in these characters and seeing their relationship kind of from the past and on to the future.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's because I already know it, but boy, was I happy to get through these episodes. I think they are boring. I did write out in all caps, just slap, because comes up, has a great shot on Sakura, and then just slaps her. And then I love how everything pauses and everybody's like, oh my God. Like they're way more shocked from a slap than if she was hit across the room, which happens several times in this fight. But I wrote, love the music between Sakura and Ino, and then I put backstory with a space in between every single letter, because that was the rest of the episode. And then for 42, I put nice, more backstory, nice tie. I really was thrilled with these episodes. I don't hate them. They're just ultimately forgettable.
The part where they're actually fighting, there are some cool moments. I think like everyone's kind of aware that Ino has some cool powers and like just great skill and stuff. And the whole hair cutting thing, I put holy shit, we all cutting our hair. But then the fact that turned into an actual move, I was like, this is cool. That was one of my favorite moves for like all of these episodes.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
But you can only do that once.
They definitely ended up in it could grow back.
Like next year. There's a lot of hair.
Yeah, you get one attack a year.
Well, the way that Zaku's arms grew back, I feel like maybe it's going to be quicker.
That's a good point.
But yeah, so they're weird rivals.
Yeah. So we get that fight. Then we get I guess that ends 42. And then into 43, we know that Tintin and Tamari are about to fight. And then we get our best cheerleaders in the entire anime. Guy Sensei and Rock Lee have never been more pumped for a fight than Tintin's. And
They
Tintin follows it up with one of the funniest things that I've ever seen in anime. And that's whenever she takes off running like this. And everybody's like, that's so fast. But like she's just like mildly running around the room, and now she's behind Tamari, who's not shocked that she's behind her. She's just like, yeah, I watched you run in half a circle, and now you're behind me.
and I'm not even
like,
worried about it because you're not
yeah.
going to hit me.
And I'm not worried about it. And I wrote down 1010 running around Tamari is pure comedy. And then the next thing I wrote, because it was very soon after, was back broken for sure.
Gosh, dude, that was brutal. That was a freaking Mortal Kombat fatality right there without the blood and guts.
That's a great analogy.
And bone comparison, Foley work or whatever. I think the funniest thing was I still can't stand Rock Lee and Guy, and even more so when they are being cheerleaders. It's sweet, but it's obnoxious to me, and it's something that if somebody was doing that for me, I'd be like, just chill out, please. But when he says 10-10, power of youth, that was what have they been through that's something that he would say to her, and she's like, oh yes, now I'm feeling it. Now I'm gonna win this battle.
You just got to get to know Guy Sensei. The power of the youth, dude.
Power of youth. Yeah.
It amazes me in the 10-10 versus Tanari fight. I wrote this note down that they always act like there's no way they could miss. Like 10-10, obviously she's trained. She's got a sharp eye. She's always on it. She hits her targets every time. But the fact that she just like jumps up and just throws down those, whatever you call them, they look like
the needles.
What? Yeah,
needles?
The needles.
Yeah,
they look like the 4 points.
Oh, like you're talking. That's a ninja star. To me, I don't know what they're actually called.
But that's her first move. She just like jumps up, throws them down, and the girl with the fans like, that's it. Like, and they're like, what? She never misses. How did she miss? And I'm like, anyone could see that coming, especially if you're able to just like, have the power of just, I don't know, whatever it is.
When we've seen multiple characters at this point deflect kunai with ease.
Exactly.
It's really.
So I was like, oh, she's gonna dodge this. Way to go, 10-10. And everyone's like, no way. She never misses.
Well, it's also like I've seen Sakura throw kunai around. Like she's probably just as accurate, but see, this is what happens when you have some unrealistic like cheerleading on your side. It's like, is that blowing up her ego so much and she's not actually that skilled? I don't know. This is just me being a Sakura fan.
I will say that Tintin's ninjutsu is tied to her like throwing things. Like she's a ranged ninja. And they talk about it for just like a second. So we're led to believe that she's like, that's what she does. So for her to miss, like, it would be pretty crazy. But overall, it's just not comparable. I mean, she got handled by Tamari.
Well, and
she would have been handled by anybody there besides like, I don't even know.
Did you say she wouldn't?
Sakura. She would be handled by, like, I think Naruto could have beaten her. I think Kiba. I think Shino. I think Shikamaru for sure. Choji. I mean, like anybody. All the sand, all the sound. I think that she was. I don't see how her jutsu would be viable without a team. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
Just a one-on-one fight, like that's just a tough one to come with because everybody handles kunai so easily, it seems.
I made a note
Yeah.
about that too because it wasn't for her, it was for somebody else, and I can't remember now, and it might have been somebody who hasn't fought yet. Like Hinata, for example. Like that's a person who seems like would thrive on the team, but how often are you going to be one-on-one and hand-to-hand, in
Yeah.
that kind of scenario? So it's really, I guess it's kind of interesting to me that they put everybody through that, but I did make a note that it seems like they matched them up pretty well for the most part, except maybe this one. And I'm assuming whoever has to fight Gara is like dead. Like we can just write them off, I guess. But
I think that because Tamari is technically also ranged, maybe that was the thought, but
that
Tamari is
makes
just
sense.
so vastly stronger
Her
and
hair,
able to like manipulate her. I mean, she flew on her fan.
yeah.
I was like, what is happening? This is ridiculous. She's like, where'd she go? You don't see this massive fan just like flying through the air.
I
But
got really distracted by her hair too because it's like coming out this way and this way. I thought it was really cool. It was a cool like character design.
yeah, I like Tamari. She was all right.
She got to rein in that Gara, so she's got a lot on her
Well,
plate.
after Tenten gets bodied, next is Shikamaru and
Hey, hold on. Sweet
girl.
moment with Ino and Sakura when they both finally come to. I really enjoyed that as well. That is all.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like their relationship between each other. I think that the rival concept, seemingly, I don't know and haven't looked this up, but like the rival concept in Japanese culture is very interesting. Like not an enemy, but in a friend, but like not like I don't know. It's interesting
Frenemy.
because like, and I'm thinking of like Pokemon
Yeah.
is like my first introduction to like the word rival being used that type of way, and then here in Naruto, it's like a big deal. So,
Ash and Gary, man.
It's
Blue and red.
legendary,
Legendary.
mythical. So we get what is that girl's name? Do y'all remember? Shikamaru fights the sound girl.
Her name is, I did put all these down, Suchi, but they call her Kin. I think her full name is like Suchi Kin.
Gotcha. So Shikamaru, I'm starting to remember why he was one of my favorites whenever I was watching.
He's a bad mother trucker
he's
too.
clever.
Whenever I was in middle school,
And
because
yeah,
he's cool. I really like him.
I really liked that battle too. I was like, why is that the only like guy versus girl? But maybe it just didn't line up with like how many people there were. But yeah, that was interesting. I kind of forgot that she was a part of the Sound Ninja. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I remembered that, I was like, oh shoot, she's probably got some crazy like abilities as well. But this was a cool battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just short and
Shikamaru.
sweet.
Yeah. I put like 4 or 5 Haws together, all caps, and said, what a way to win. Because I forgot in the prelims, he just knocked her out by throwing her into the wall with her by herself. I thought that was great. And just a good way for him to be like, okay, that's all that was needed. Because she didn't think that it was coming.
Right.
So I think that brings us up to the end of 43. And toward the end of 43, we see Naruto and Kiba are selected as the next match. And that brings us into the final little hill that we're going to cross.
Hey, I made this note once before in a previous episode, but Neji and Hinata have the same like eyes. And I feel like that's going to come back or something because he also maybe he didn't. I think what happened is I saw the thumbnail of episode 46 and I was like, oh wait, I think I might know what's coming here, but I won't mention it. Never mind.
We'll talk about it next week.
Spoiler.
And next week.
I love saying spoiler after the fact, just for the record too. Don't look at the comments on Crunchyroll and don't look at the thumbnails if you can.
Yeah, that's what everybody likes whenever you say spoiler warning after you've given the spoiler. That's what I like. So 44 and 45, Naruto and Kiba, pretty good fight. Naruto can hold his own. I really like him.
He
Some
doesn't give up.
abilities
No.
going on here. I liked it.
Yeah. What'd y'all think?
I thought he was clever. He had some gas in the tank.
Yeah, this is
If
coming
you know
off
what I
of the
mean.
end of 5 days. Getting his gas in the tank, hilarious. Getting but on a more serious note, because that went over my head at first. 5
did
days in
mine
the
too.
forest,
Brilliant.
getting the curse, or not the curse, but the tailed beast seal on his stomach exposed, or whatever Orochimaru did at that time, going down for that, coming back, doing a fight all night. They've not slept. And then this. It's and so much time has passed. I mean, if you think about it, like we watched this week alone, we watched 10 weeks worth of content as it was airing. So there's several months removed from that. So it doesn't feel, and it's easy to forget that they would be super tired. But it is pretty impressive that all these people are still able to fight at the level that they're at, because they've all been through it. Now, Naruto and Sasuke more than others, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had a solid fight. There was a lot of new moves and new character development within Kiba. We got to see him actually like in combat, which was cool for me.
Do you like Kiba a lot?
I like his character design. I don't know that I like him and his personality so much. His
I can't
fighting
stand
style's
him.
cool.
Did you say
Really,
you can't stand him?
he
I
does
can't stand him.
seem a little I guess cocky would be the right word. It's not even overconfidence. It's just like, I don't know. It seems like a bully's version of how Naruto acts. Naruto's just playing around, goofing off. Like throughout this entire fight, Naruto's like constantly like, "Are you tired already?" Like,
Yeah.
giving him a hard time in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But like Kiba's like ugly about it, And so I
Yeah.
don't appreciate that side of Kiba, but I definitely appreciate Akamaru and his. We see that Akamaru becomes a clone of him. That's a cool tactic that he's able to, use. But Naruto, in the most predictable, but everyone thought it was the most genius thing ever, makes a clone of himself. And so, um, that entire scene was just like, okay, yes, that's smart, but everyone's like giving him his praises. And then what's Kiba's sensei's name? The woman?
Oh, Kuronai.
Yeah. Whenever whenever he's like, "Oh, I know exactly which one because I can smell you." And she's like explaining like how his nose is like he like channels his chakra to his nose.
Yeah.
And then I forget what was it that made him uh fake Kiba out in that.
So Naruto, he did smell correctly. He was like, "Oh, this is Naruto." Punches him, but instead of reverting back to Naruto, he just switches into Akamaru. So that would make Kiba think that he had just hit Akamaru, because he expected Naruto to switch back to himself. So then he turns around and hits Akamaru in the face, who does switch back to Akamaru, and then Naruto has switched from Akamaru to himself.
Take that dog away from that
Gotcha.
guy. Good Lord.
Yeah. Hits him right in the face. Are you kidding me?
I like
Well,
when he turned
The
into
way
Clifford too.
Yeah.
with the food pills,
Yeah.
Naruto thinks everything in the world is illegal.
Yes.
He's
Is this
Can you
against
do
the
that?
rules?
He's trying to be the cops.
Yeah.
Well, the way Naruto holds up Akamaru is just wild to me. I
I
mean,
thought about that too.
he just holds him up by his front paws like he's his little chicken.
Yeah.
Like
Like
If
who
I
does
did that
that
to
who
with
holds
a
a
either of my
dog that
dogs,
way?
Yeah, I would be afraid I was gonna dislocate their front paws if I held them but from there.
I know.
Like it
But
can't be
Naruto had
comfortable.
no care in the world.
It's like a
No.
child with a
Um,
cat or something, like not a dog. I mean, it's a small dog, but it just makes me think of a toddler like having a cat as a best friend and
Yeah.
just carrying him around. And also, I love Choji's explanation of like the food pills. Like I put Choji as a GD nutritionist over here. Like he doesn't just like food, like he knows some facts and details. I love it.
that
He
was
sure
definitely
does.
a comic relief for me too.
Mhm. And then
He's great.
the last note I made for this episode, we can go back and talk about other stuff too, but Hinata is so kind and soft spoken and gentle, really creepy just following him around. And I feel bad for her because like she can't find her voice to like talk to him, but it was really sweet. And I like that. What is her name? Kurenai?
Yeah,
Kurenai?
Kurina.
It's like, hey Naruto, take that from her, please.
Yeah, he was
She's
like, you
holding
need to
that
do that.
appointment.
Like you're gonna crush her
Yeah.
by being stupid. He's like, why for me? I don't get it. He's like so oblivious.
It's like, see, that was like the deeper meaning behind what she was saying, but also like please just physically take that out of her hands too.
Yeah, like like she stood there
Like this
for a few
moment's gone on
seconds.
too long.
Yeah, just end it. That's
Uh,
funny.
Another note from the fight itself
Yeah.
with Kiba. So we saw Sasuke copy Rock Lee's tactics, and now we've seen Naruto essentially copy Sasuke, but he also says he's been working on it for a while. So I don't think we really know. I mean, he might have had that idea, but I thought it was super cool of Naruto to not only like, because he said, here's my new technique, and then it was just shadow clones, but then he uses those shadow clones to prop him up and jump him up in the air, and then jump Kiba up in the air, like kick him up in the air, and then he does the Uzumaki barrage, which was a super cool. Uh, Specifically for this fight, it was the final blow. But what were y'all's thoughts on that? I thought that was a pretty cool scene.
I thought that was some good WWE shit too, because he's already like naming the moves. That's how you build a brand, people.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I
at least he. Yeah, go ahead.
I like it. I've always liked that move. In like the Naruto games from back then, like Clash of Ninja, and I'm blanking on the one like Ultimate Ninja Storm, and a plethora of others. They basically made different Naruto games for each platform back in the day instead of just like
Yeah,
releasing one and it being on all platforms.
Were they
It
fighting
would be
games?
like,
Were they like
yeah, they were
Street
fighting
Fighter
games.
style?
Yeah.
Cool.
So like that was like Naruto's like move in the early games. And it was awesome because it was so powerful and it was just cool to see. But yeah, I like it. I don't have much more to say besides that.
So when Kiba was trying to calm himself down and he bites his hand,
Yeah.
dude, I thought he was going to turn into a Titan.
Oh my god, me too. The first thing I
I
thought
was
of.
like,
I was like, oh no, I'm getting my shows mixed up here.
get out of the way.
That's
I
funny.
it was so unexpected that he farts, and it caught me so off guard. But it was also like everyone in the room was like, yeah, of course he did that. And
Yeah.
I thought, for some reason, I just thought it was funny that like no one in the room was like, God, he's gross. It was just like, yeah, that happened, and now this is happening next. Like, let's just move on to it. Is what I felt like in the room with it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel like in
even
American
Sakura was like, go ahead, sorry.
No, yeah, I think we're about to say close to the same thing. I was just gonna say in like American entertainment, like I feel like if that happens, then everybody starts to laugh. But in this situation, like you said, everybody was like, of course. And then Sakura immediately starts like, this is your chance. Go. Like, now's the time. What were you going to say,
But at
Zach?
first, I was going to say the first thing she says to him was like, well, whatever works.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then she was like, but also, like, hey, do your next move.
Yeah.
And then he says,
I
I
love
was straining too much. Anyway, gets right back to it.
Oh, my gosh. It's so ridiculous. I love the comic relief in this show. I think that it's well timed.
Yeah, I was gonna say like well timed, well placed, and it's just the right amount without too much of it. I
Yeah.
feel like if that went on any longer and they made any other joke about it, it would have been like, okay, like whatever, we get it. But
Yeah.
goes on to the next thing. Thanks to Sakura.
So this is the 8th or 9th battle of the 10 that we're going to
That
see.
actually the 7th.
7th.
Yeah. So we
So
have
we'll
three
see 3
more.
more.
Yep.
Okay,
Cool.
well, who do we have left? Because there's Gara, there's Neji, Choji,
Hinata.
So
Hinata.
there's Choji, Hinata, Gara, Neji, Rock Lee,
Oh yeah, of course.
and the sound guy that has the like
Mummy Man.
yeah, the mummy man. Yeah.
Mummy Man.
And that's your 6.
What if all he did was like push faders on a soundboard and they were like, yep, that's the sound guy for you. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. It's the end of our podcast. We will see you later.
Nobody's gonna be here anymore. They've already left whenever you made all these jokes.
Yeah, whatever we say from now on is just for us.
It's just for us.
Mostly for me. Hey, I did. This was the part where I, like the third time I noticed, okay, Hinata and Neji, they got this eye thing going on. Excuse me. And then he calls her Lady Hinata,
Yeah.
which was interesting because I was like, okay, so they're related or something. But then he calls her that, and I was like, oh, she's royalty, maybe? But I don't know. I don't think so because she's in flashbacks and stuff, and she's kind of just there with everybody else. So
Yeah, we
an
will
odd thing to
see
say.
actually just next week. So that's a great transition for me. That brings us to the end of episode 45. So next week we will be watching episodes 46 through 52. So that'll cover the rest of the 3 matches. We'll get to see who battles who and what happens. And then the last episode has some filler in it, but that's okay. It's also got some manga canon that we need. So we will be watching it. So that's going to be 46 through 52. And that'll bring us to the end of season 2. And we'll talk about that next week and, get into all of it. It's going to be a great one. It's going to be, you guys don't know what you're in for. Just, I want you to remember this time now that you don't know. And because once you do know, things will change. So 46 through 52, I can't wait. I've been looking forward to this batch since we started.
So you're saying next week's episode is going to change it all?
Next week's episode is the batch of episodes, I would say, if you watch Naruto and you get to the end of season 2 and you don't enjoy it, you won't enjoy it. It's not for you. And I'm not saying that this next batch of episodes is going to change everything you know about Naruto, but it will change the way you look at Naruto.
Does he fart differently this time?
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
It's so good. It's so good. So just hang in there.
I believe it.
Oh, no. Well, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about besides awful puns?
All
right.
Oh my God.
Just vibing on one long
It's good. It's really good. I think I enjoyed these episodes more than any that we've done so far.
Oh, I was gonna say this. Yeah, it slows down a little bit. I like that we get the time to learn about all these side characters because obviously we get to see like Naruto and Sakura and Sasuke all fight, but we're getting the most development outside of Team 7 that we've gotten so far. And we get to learn about everybody's jutsus and what they can do. And I love it. This is like quintessential to me. When I think of my childhood, the prelims are where I live. And it's like some of the most like, how am I trying to say this? Like vivid memories I have of watching Naruto is of this time. So I have a big connection to it in as a whole, but season 2 is just, it's great. Season 3, even better.
No way.
You just don't know.
I feel like season 3
I say that every week, though.
The sophomore slump more than season 2. It's been a good season.
Yeah, this has been it's a good season. I like it. The Forest of Death is really interesting. We get to see everybody fight each other in a one-on-one, which is like, I feel like everybody wants that. It's like, let's just see a one-on-one. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So,
I don't hope that Rock Lee dies.
If you're watching right now,
why would you say that?
For some reason, the camera was on me and now it's on Zach. If you're watching,
and it never went to me.
Yeah, you didn't get to see Asher's blank face of disdain for Rock Lee. Lance will have some words for you next week, I'm sure, about that.
Great.
Lance, if you're listening at this point, I'm so sorry because this is nauseating for me. All right. So again, once again,
I love you.
Next week, 46 through 52. We will see you then. Team 7.
Believe it.